We are back with Vic Henley in studio, and we got Esther Koo, and we got the great Gregg Louganis making his way into the studio
now. Yes,
the Olympic diver, a legend. My God,
I think he said alleged. I realized I caught myself a second later. I'm like, oh yeah, why would he say that?
Oh no, Gregg Louganis is a legend.
No, right here.
Good morning,
Justin. He's right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then you Vic there, so Vic can jump in.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
How's
How
your
are
morning
you?
going? Good.
It's going good.
You got your coffee? You're ready to go.
Coffee.
You look spiffy. I like that shirt.
Thank you.
Where'd you get that?
It's Tori Richard in Hawaii.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know who
You're
Tori
so
Richard
fancy.
is.
He's a designer in
Oh, I thought it was a
Hawaii.
she. I've made that mistake many times.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the documentary because the link didn't work. But
You didn't
No, we
watch
tried.
that?
I was texting for an hour last night trying to get a link.
Greg?
Okay.
But I watched.
He watched it because
But
he
you
got a
watched.
link. Yes,
And I enjoyed it. Right off the bat, you're in your old home, and you're around boxes. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on with Gregg Louganis and his dream home? And then you got the phone's ringing, there's debt collectors. I'm like, there's no way Gregg Louganis has a problem with money, with everything he did in the Olympics.
Well, you know what? It was just that classic situation. I mean, it was the black mold scare of 2006. Then a contractor came in, took out all the equity, said that the house was killing me, and half demolished the house because the work had to be done immediately, and it was a scam. Took off with the money, and it was like, oh my God, I'm trying to make good on this loan that I just couldn't afford. And
How much did they say it was
crazy.
going to cost you?
Well, it was supposed to be tied to an investment, so that was how it was going to be paid for, and so I just trusted the wrong people.
And they took advantage of you. You got HIV, and you feel a little weird, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my God, and then they're telling you, oh no, it's just the black mold in your house,
Right?
And they scammed you.
Yeah.
I'm so mad because then they showed that part of the house where you couldn't even put it back together after they left.
Yeah, I mean,
what was the excuse of leaving halfway through the job like that?
They
just disappeared?
They just disappeared. So
did you ever go after them?
Yeah, we went after them. We found him. We didn't get a whole lot of back, but and that's the thing about the film Back on Board, which is airing on HBO August 4th at 10 p.m. And Cheryl Furjanic and Will Sweeney, they had this vision. We didn't know where we were going with the whole thing,
right?
But what they came up with was incredible because they show so much of the diving footage and my history as a child and then as an Olympian,
right?
And, it's really amazing what the story that they were able to tell. Also surrounding issues of LGBT human rights, because they get married at the end, happy ending, and then the HIV, because I was diagnosed 6 months prior to the Olympic Games.
Can I ask you a question? Was that just a random check, or were you not feeling right, or what? How did you actually find out? What made you go to the doctor?
Well, what happened was I had something going on with my ear, and I was at my doctor, who was also my cousin in Florida. I was training there, and so I said, you know what? This is an important year. I want an HIV test too. We did it under an assumed name, so nobody could trace it back or anything like that. And he goes, "Oh, you have nothing to worry about," and it's like, yeah, right.
Did he know or no?
No.
He didn't know you were gay.
He knew I was gay.
Okay.
He knew I was gay, but he also knew I'm a serial monogamist.
Oh, right. He also knew he was not slutty dancing gay man around town.
I latch onto somebody and I hang on to him for probably longer than I should. But
don't we all?
Oh my God!
Don't we all?
So he said, "I'm sure you don't have anything to worry about." And then when my results came back, he said, "You are HIV positive." And my thought at the time was I was going to do the honorable thing. I was going to pack my bags because I was living in Florida and training. I was going to pack my bags, go back to California, lock myself in my house, and wait to die because that's what we thought back in the 80s.
It's a death sentence in '88.
Yeah, it was a death
Terrible.
sentence. And so, he said, well, we don't know how long you've been positive, and the best thing for you is to continue training. It's very healthy, and so it was much easier to focus on the diving because then I wasn't consumed with this, doom, cloud of doom.
But you were taking a lot of medication, which is knocking your body down.
Well, the only medication that we had was AZT at the time, and the way that AZT was prescribed at that time was 2 pills every 4 hours around the clock. So I was getting up in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, taking my AZT. My alarm on my watch went off every 4 hours. So no matter where I was, I had to take my AZT.
At what point did you realize, like, okay, I'm actually going to live with this? Like, Magic Johnson came out and people were amazed at how healthy he looks for so long.
That was about the same time,
it was 1990,
too.
I think Magic did.
1990, right, okay.
What point did you realize, like, hey, this isn't a death sentence. I'm actually going to live my life?
Just to add to that, you thought at first, I'm not going to make 30.
Yeah, I didn't think that I would see 30. I honestly did not believe I would see 30.
God, you must have been crying, like, constantly.
No, not really. I was at peace with that.
Really?
Yeah, because I had lost so many of my friends. And so it was like, well, this is, the cards that I was dealt, and I'm going to make the best of, of the situation. I make the best of my life, whatever that may be. And, and I went through the protease inhibitors. I was on a lot of studies, with UCLA, the protease inhibitors and some of the other retrovirals and all that. So at one point, because I'm dear friends with Mary Fisher, and I heard that she went off her meds.
Who's she, Mary Fisher?
Mary Fisher, she's the Republican that came out about her HIV status way back, in my day in the 80s, and so I heard that she had gone off her meds, and I totally get it because one of the side effects of, especially one of the protease inhibitors, was severe diarrhea. It's like you take the medication, and it was funny. I was doing a play for Larry Kramer, Just Say No, with Alexandra Billings in Chicago, and we were comparing notes. Okay, what meds are you on? What meds are you on? And so Larry could not believe that I was doing the play, but I would time it so within 20 minutes you experience severe diarrhea. Then after taking the medication, then it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to recover, to get your energy back. So it was always 3 hours prior to rehearsal or performance that I took my protease inhibitor, and so I would time it so that I could be on stage. And I could be active. So that's just the way that I was taught as an athlete, as a performer. And so he was just blown away. He said, "I can't believe you're doing the play."
So the access to that early treatment, you feel like that's the reason you're still with us, right?
Yeah, I mean,
in a way.
When I was diagnosed, I had 215 T cells, and
what's the normal level?
1,000.
Yeah.
And so the cutoff was 200. So in order for me to qualify for AZT, I had to be under 200. But I met with Anthony Fauci at Centers for Disease Control up in D.C., and he said, "Look, you're a national treasure. We want to take care of you, and we'll bypass some of the red tape and all that." And so I was on AZT. Little did I know the side effects of the AZT.
What were they besides diarrhea?
Well, no. That was the protease inhibitors. The AZT, it was a lot of people were dying. They weren't able to tolerate.
It's too powerful.
AZT.
Yeah, I just saw Dallas Buyers Club the other night. I was watching it. The same thing.
Yeah.
The first doses sometimes could be detrimental.
Lethal.
Yeah,
Lethal.
absolutely. It didn't work. They had to find the right amount to give it.
Yeah, because it was it's metabolized in the liver.
Yeah.
It's really hard on your liver. People were having liver failure, and
there should be like a black market where you could like barter semen for T cells. Like somebody needs to create that.
Yeah, I think
There's a
it
need.
would probably be stem cell. I mean, I think stem cell research,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
We're talking to Gregg Louganis, back on board. The Gregg Louganis story premieres next Tuesday, August 4th at 10 on HBO. I saw it. Speaking of the being gay, like, when
Go ahead, tell us.
When you came out in 1995,
He's outing me on radio. Oh my God.
everyone, most people were just shocked, like, well, Gregg Louganis is gay. But then through this HBO thing, you learn that a lot of people in the diving world, everyone knew it.
Yeah.
And what I was amazed by, because obviously times have changed, that how was everyone keeping quiet about this?
Yeah.
Considering what you were accomplishing, you were a big star. You would think someone would be an asshole. Is what
No,
I'm getting at.
they loved him that much. I think he's America's treasure, like the guy said.
I mean, but you just wouldn't get that today.
No.
Things have changed so much with social media now. I mean, because nothing's off limits anymore. But at the time when I was going through the ranks, I mean, my first Olympics was in 1976. I was 16.
Yeah.
And so I became friends with a lot of the reporters, and it was just my policy not to discuss my private life with members of the media. I was out to my friends and family, and so and the thing is, there was respect.
I was going to say they respected that, right?
And they respected that. I mean, even though they knew about my sexual identity, they respected that. There was plenty to read between the lines. I mean, you could probably figure it out very easily.
He's a diver.
But what? You think I'm a figure skater? It's like, geez. No.
And he liked.
How did you come out to your family? How old were you when you came out to your family?
Well, how old was I when I came out to my mom? It was funny because I was breaking up with with one of my partners, and it was a very volatile relationship, and so I think I was 22, 21 or 22. And I said, Mom, I got to get out of here. And so then we packed up all my stuff and in the car, and I turned to her and I said, Mom, Kevin and I weren't just roommates, we were lovers too. And she goes, I know, son, what's for dinner? What?
Right.
Here I think, the earth is going to open up and
right.
swallow me up if my parents ever found out that I was gay. and
Mom always knows.
Right. I love it when I hear that one though. Every time, that's not the first time I've heard that scenario, and it makes me so goddamn happy.
Yeah.
My mom said the same thing to me. Absolutely. I said, make cornbread and everything will be okay.
Yeah. The parents always know, though. They always know.
One other thing about being gay, which you guys talk about a little bit in the HBO show, I wish you talked about it a little more, was you feel like, people around you, I believe it was your coach, Ron O'Brien, said that he believes you weren't on the Wheaties box because the rumors were you were gay.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to take that chance, which kind of depressed me. I'm like, really? Fuck, this guy should have been on the Wheaties box. Or
Should have been on Fruity Pebbles.
It's so funny because I don't pay attention to that. So it really didn't strike me until we started filming this film, and I was working with Cheryl Frajanic, and we were at the International Swimming Hall of Fame, and somebody brought up the Wheaties box, and then in the Hall of Fame, it has all of the swimmers and divers who were on the cover of the Wheaties box, and I'm like going, oh my God, and I'm actually looking at, famous in swimming, but relatively,
not as big a name as you.
Yeah, not.
I'll say it.
You're being
I'll say their names, and
I'll
I'm
say
like,
it.
You're being polite. You saw these boxes and went,
It's like,
oh my God,
wow.
I was bigger than at least half a
Absolutely.
dozen of these people,
Right.
at least. But more importantly, the endorsements in general weren't that great after what you accomplished. You won 4 gold medals, and you could have easily won 2 more if we didn't have the 1980 boycott, because that was in your wheelhouse. You were at the top of your game in 1980, and you couldn't go.
Do you look at being gay like kind of? It's like when baseball players, when like all of a sudden here come the big contracts after those guys retired, and now it's such an accepted thing. It wouldn't hurt you with endorsements, and it's like, God damn it, like 20 years.
Darn, I came out too soon.
But you know what?
Shoot.
Like the country changed a little bit. Just 20 years earlier, if it had changed.
Yeah, but somebody's got to start it.
What were your thoughts on the 1980 boycott? I mean, that's gotta you'd spend all this time getting ready, and then all of a sudden you're told, the country's got to boycott this one.
That was devastating.
It is for the athletes.
It was, I was blessed. I was blessed because I was able to continue, and I was able to continue into. I competed on both sides of two Olympic boycotts, because we boycotted 1980 and the Eastern Bloc countries boycotted 1984 Olympic Games. Right. But I was able to compete in Montreal and Seoul, Korea on two sides of two boycotted Olympics. So, I mean, I feel like I was very blessed, but there were so many athletes. I mean, my dad even looked into me representing Greece because he's Greek, wow. And he reached out to the Greek embassy and the sports community to try to get me to be able to compete in the 1980 Olympic Games for Greece. And so, yeah, I mean, it was devastating for a lot of us.
I was at Auburn with Rowdy Gaines.
Oh my God.
When that was going on.
I love Rowdy.
Rowdy's a great dude.
Yeah.
And he's still mad. That was right in his wheelhouse, and he didn't get to go. And everybody on campus for those few weeks were like, don't even fucking say a word to him. Yeah. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. He is fire hot mad because he's had his entire life just snatched out from under him. It was terrible.
Because when you're an elite athlete competing at that level, you have a shelf life. So if you think about that, it's and oftentimes, depending on the sport, that shelf life is very, very short. And if you miss that window of opportunity in 4 years, is
that's
really
a huge difference.
Yeah, is not that long, but can be a lifetime.
Of course. So speaking of the Seoul Olympics, I found it fascinating too that you had to hide your HIV status because they would not let you in the country if they knew, and that your coach, that it seems like you guys had a great relationship with Ron O'Brien. He was sneaking in your AZT for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that seems a bit scary.
Yeah. I mean, it was an incredible, incredible journey and incredible year, filled with a lot of pressure. By that time in 1988, the Chinese had caught up to me, and I knew that I was going to be hard pressed to win two gold medals. And even though going into the 88 Olympic Games, I was the odds-on favorite, and as it happened in the men's prelims, when I hit my head on the board in that split second, I became the underdog.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was like, and that was a real turning point for both of us. It's like, okay, nothing's guaranteed. We got to take one dive at a time, one moment at a time. And so, because I didn't even know if I was going to be strong enough to be able to dive platform, because it's a lot greater impact, and and I didn't know.
What's the difference? Platform is higher up.
Yeah, that's
higher, totally.
3-meter springboard.
Yeah,
and 10-meter
and
platform.
10-meter platform.
You hit the water going 32 miles an hour, something like that.
32, 34, somewhere around there.
So you hit your head on the board.
Yeah.
That was 1988.
88.
Right? What were you thinking with the blood?
Well, it was
because we just didn't know a lot yet.
When I took off the board, I knew I was going to be close, because I stood it up pretty straight. And I was thinking, usually you worry about hitting your hands or your arm or something. So I made sure that I wasn't, going to hit my hands or arms. So I came out wide. And then I hear this big hollow thud. And I go crashing into the water. And I'm like going, what the hell was that? It was my head. And so then the first emotion that I felt was I was embarrassed. I'm like going, oh my God, this is the Olympic Games. How can I get out of this pool without anybody seeing me? And and I was like, I was so embarrassed. But then I got angry with myself. And, and really, I'm a firm believer that you don't achieve greatness on your own. And Ron O'Brien was there for me. I mean, he came to me after I got my head sewn up by Dr. James Puffer and Dr. Ben Rubin. He said, you know what, you have a great career to look back on. You don't have to get back up there, and I'm going to support you 100%, 100%, whatever you decide. And I turned to him, kind of knee-jerk reaction. I said, we worked too long and hard to get here, and I don't want to give up without a fight. And so he goes, okay, come on, let's go for a walk. And really, in that moment in time, because I wasn't much of a fighter, so I had to draw on that. And who my inspiration was Ryan White, who was a dear friend of mine. He was the young boy from Kokomo, Indiana, who contracted HIV through his clotting factor, and so I knew he was a fighter, and so he was my inspiration, and that's the reason why I gave that medal from the 88 Olympic Games men's 3-meter springboard to Jeannie White. It's now at the Ryan White exhibition at the Children's Hospital in Indiana.
You really like giving away your gold medals. I noticed that.
I know. You know what? My husband's
got one left. You got one left
my
for
husband's hiding them from me. I have no idea where they are. My husband knows where they are. He's not giving any more away.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
We might have to live off this. But you weren't worried about the blood in the pool, because I know people kind of gave you a little.
Well, an injury like that doesn't bleed right away. So, and also you're not going to get HIV through chlorinated pool.
Yeah.
So it was important for people to learn about how you get HIV. It's blood to blood, but also important for them to understand how they're not going to get HIV.
Right.
And so there was a lot of education happening when I came out in '95 about my HIV status. I know I was criticized a lot, but there was communication happening.
Yeah.
And as long as there's communication happening, there's education happening. So, if I could be the catalyst in that, that's fine.
How's the medication? Sorry, how's the medication now? Like, what's the difference between now and what you had to take back then?
The medication now is I take my meds in the morning and in the evening.
Is it the same stuff, or has it?
No, it's changed. Because viruses are very smart and tricky. So over a period of time, you become resistant to whatever medication regimen you might be on. So I've been through quite a few different regimens of treatment. But right now,
does your husband have HIV?
No, he's negative.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you guys have sex.
Yeah.
Protect.
Yes, we do.
So he doesn't bleed when you.
We have a very healthy sex life. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I sound ignorant.
That's a fair question.
I'm just wondering.
You got to protect yourself there, Mr. Coe.
What they've learned is early detection, early treatment. My viral load is undetectable. And as long as your viral load is undetectable, there's less likelihood of infection.
I would love undetectable loads. That would be awesome.
Yeah, but it's
easy cleanup.
Yeah,
viral load.
Wait a minute.
I knew somebody was about to do a load.
It's just so.
Is there something called PrEP, or there's something you take where you could stop you from transferring HIV? Like they said, it's almost down to a 0%.
PrEP is for the person who's HIV negative who wants to stay HIV negative.
What's the other one you take that stops you from transferring it? There is something.
If you have an undetectable viral load, there's less likelihood of transmission. And also, precautionary measures, prevention.
We kind of got to wrap up, but how close are we to curing this thing? We're getting there?
It's hard to say. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think we're going to see the cure coming from the United States, but
I think you're cured. You look great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I can't even tell.
You're not supposed to tell.
I've never been able to tell.
See, hey,
God, if you could tell, this thing would have been.
When you met your husband, how long did it take him for him to sleep with you? Like you guys talked about it, and what was?
Well, that's the thing about being me. I mean,
everybody wants to fuck you.
Okay. All right.
It's America's treasure.
Well, look at the time. Greg's got to go.
The time there. No.
They already know going in.
They know going in. They know what they're going into.
Or do you go in them?
You know what? It's so funny because I dated. When I was dating, I swore not to date anybody who was not HIV positive. But a lot of the people that I was going out with that were HIV positive, I mean, they made HIV their next career. I mean, they knew so much, and it's like, God, I mean, that's not me. That's not reflective of me, but Johnny understands, and he's,
Does Johnny swallow?
What's that?
Does Johnny swallow?
Well,
I'm sure there's HIV listeners who need to know.
He doesn't want to answer that. However, we are all curious.
I swallow. Okay.
You might be saving lives today, Greg.
That's the medicine.
There you go.
You're swallowing T cells from his spermage.
Back on board, Gregg Louganis premieres next Tuesday, August 4th at 10 p.m. on HBO. I really enjoyed your story.
I'm pissed I didn't see it, and I really want to, because the way he sold it this morning, it's awesome what you had to go through.
Fascinating.
Especially as such an Olympic hero to have to not get on the endorsements and stuff. It's just kind of embarrassing.
So much going on with the boycott where that was almost you can't guarantee it, but it was a good shot you were going to get another 2 medals with that games. Please tell me you're making money these days. That's all I need to know.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing motivational speaking, and
the stress of watching you in your house with all your boxes packed with the bill collectors calling. I'm like, oh my God! I hope he turned it around a little bit.
He was driven into stand. Didn't you? You were driven into stand up for a minute or two.
Oh my God!
No. Come on.
I know what a hard life that is, because Rosie O'Donnell is a dear friend of mine, and I went through so much with her at the time, and so I know what that life's like. And Louis Anderson, and all of those guys. It's a tough life.
But you got 3.
I'll stick to my acting.
You got 3 in studio, all stand-up comics around you there, Greg. This was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Gregg Louganis on Twitter too, and GreggLouganis.com. It's Louganis. If you don't know how to spell it,
that's the way it's always been spelled.
Yeah, but I would have spelled it LOO. I'm an idiot. So
He's an Olympic hero. Throw $100 in an envelope, and will you send it to him, please?
Right.
Yeah,
so I can sleep better at night.
Maybe they'll put him on the Wheaties box. They should do that retro. Why not?
Throwback.
Yes, reparations time.
Legends, right?
I like it.
American heroes we missed.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Jim Norton.
We got to take a quick break. We got Nathaniel Rateliff coming in to perform a song for us. That's cool. I started the show with it. Huh?
The song I've been failing.
Great.
You've been failing?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're going to do a little live music next end today's show. Gregg Louganis, thank you so much.
Thank you.